Shane moved his childhood sweetheart into our wedding penthouse. I'd been on a business trip for half a month. The moment I stepped back inside and pushed the door open, the living room floor was drowning in plush toys and every last thing of mine had been tossed into the guest room. The sweetheart, all sugar and cream, cooed that she needed sunlight on doctor's orders, so obviously the master suite was better for her. Behind my back she'd even posted on Instagram, quietly bragging that the heaven-sent fiancé still couldn't beat the old. I lost it, booted Shane and his little princess out the door. Then Shane panicked, dropped to his knees, wailing, "Baby, she fooled me, I can't live without you." Before we go on, hit subscribe and drop a comment telling us where you're listening from. I flew home Friday, hoping to surprise Shane after 14 days away. I'd snagged the reservation he'd been dying for at the new French place. The smart lock chimed, I pushed the door wide. Surprise! No Shane, just a trashed living room and a stranger in my space. My smile froze midair. The woman set down her bag of chips, sauntered over, grinning. "Oh, you must be Lily. I'm Shane's little childhood friend, just call me Riley." I didn't answer. I swept my eyes across the room instead. This was the penthouse loft I'd bought to marry Shane in, blacks, whites, and grays, the razor-sharp minimal look I'd micromanaged and paid a fortune to pull off. Now the sofa was buried under cartoon plushies. I'm allergic, nothing fuzzy has ever crossed this threshold. The artist-made coffee table was littered with empty snack pouches, crumbs drifting onto the imported rug. Shane knows I'm a neat freak, he's always kept the place spotless. I had zero warm feelings for this first-time meet darling, but for Shane's sake I managed a nod. "Hi, where's Shane?" Her eyes basically glittered with superiority, she'd waited for that exact question. "Oshing simmering pigeon soup for me, doctor says I'm a little anemic," she trilled. She wore a gauzy white dress that screamed fragile. Her words, though, came barbed. I frowned. Sizzle sounded from the kitchen. I walked in and found Shane wrapped in pink, stir-frying like his life depended on it. He sensed someone, beamed over his shoulder. "Hold on, Riley, soup and veggies almost ready, munch some chips on the sofa like a good girl." I was speechless. Shane is thoughtful, sure, but watching him baby another woman felt surreal. Any outsider would swear they were the married couple and I was the random guest. When no one answered, Shane glanced back. Seeing me clutching my handbag, his ladle clattered to the floor. "Baby, you're back today?" he stammered, the classic caught in the act crack in his voice. He killed the flame and started rambling. "Riley came from hometown job hunting, just crashing a little while. She's always been frail, so." While he fumbled, Riley appeared in the doorway, eyes red, tears poised. "Oshing, I'll move out of the master suite, it's my fault for needing sunlight. I made you and Lily fight." For words flashed in my brain, cuckoo in the nest. I'm big on boundaries, the master suite is private, yet Shane handed it to his childhood pal. At her tears Shane's heart broke, right before he turned the blame on me. "Babe, the doctor says she needs morning sun. She'll take the master, I'll bunk with you in the guest room." Makes us sound like a old-time harem. And now Shane gets to pick nights like it's a rota? Seeing me silent, he pulled me aside and whispered, "She was our next-door neighbor back home. When mom was sick Riley helped, this is a debt I owe, okay? 2 weeks max, she lands a job and she's gone." I know Shane's resume, born on the wrong side of the tracks, fought his way to management, all by himself. That grit was exactly why I said yes. Reading my soften-up face, he carried the dishes out. "Try my cooking first." 3 of us sat. The spread was blander than hospital food. Riley elbowed Shane, foe. Scolding. "Everything's my favorite, silly, Lily just flew in." I lifted a stalk of bok choy. "No worries. I booked French for 2 tonight, this is just a snack." Riley's color drained. Shane clipped some asparagus into her bowl, urging her to eat. I like punchy flavors, the whole menu had been dumbed down for her. I pushed away after a few bites. I headed for the master suite to see if my stuff had been stowed properly. It's huge, why I bought the unit. The instant I opened the door I noticed designer bags out of place, my makeup collection rifled through, powder dusting the vanity. The bed wore rainbow cartoon sheets. Clearly Riley had been camping here for days. Shane slipped in, hugged me. "Baby, I'll get Shaw to deep clean tomorrow." Riley's helpless, think of her as a kid we're babysitting. I twisted free, laughing coldly. Never met a 20-something toddler. "You owe the favor, not me." I spun into the guest room. My coats were yanked off hangers, my sheets balled on the mattress like a protest. The cleaner comes weekly. This chaos was intentional. Calmly I phoned Shaw for a next-day overhaul, grabbed my bag and aimed for a hotel. Shane blocked the door, realizing I'd snapped. Where are you going? I'm coming with. I sidestepped and delivered my line. Tomorrow, when I walk back in, this place better look exactly like I left it. And as for little miss, or is it green tea, ship her wherever. Shane reached again. Riley suddenly clutched her chest. Shane, I can't breathe. Cue White Lotus tears. Shane sprinted to rub her back. Lily, let me settle her first, she's unstable. I'll find you after, okay? I left them to their soap opera. The reservation wasn't refundable, so I asked my bestie to pinch hit. Between courses I replayed the plush invasion story. Sienna's eyes went saucer-wide. Holy crap, textbook tea spilling by, I nodded. I've seen the type. I just thought Shane, laser-focused as he is, had better filters. Picking small-town Riley was nowhere in his life. Spreadsheet. Yet tonight he'd gone off script. So you'll let her squat in your castle-stirring drama? Sienna pressed. I'd considered an immediate eviction, I don't do martyrdom. But curiosity won. Let's see how far Shane and his girl will go. Give it 2 weeks. Swapping grooms is exhausting. I'd finally escaped my parents' non-stop matchmaking circuit. If I bail now, endless blind dates reload. Easier to coast. Work's heating up anyway, I've no bandwidth for fiancé sitting. After dessert I checked into the hotel. Phone glowed 10:30, work pings only, nothing from Shane. I sank into the tub. When I came out the screen was dancing, Shane calling. I picked up to a whimpering female. Shane crooned, she heard you're staying out and insists on apologizing. I had zero bandwidth for the performance. Save it. I'm back tomorrow. Instantly Riley wailed louder. Sis, it's all me. If I weren't so sick you'd be home. I needed my brow. You turned the place into a landfill. Where exactly was I supposed to sleep? Crying amped up. Shane chimed in, Lily, that's harsh. She's our guest, show some grace. I listened to him coddle her, then, tiny tiff. Come home tomorrow and talk it through. I hung up feeling I'd never met this man. When he chased me he sold himself as cool, calculating elite. Now I saw a guy who couldn't sort right from wine, perfect match for his tear squirting. Next evening I stepped inside and the penthouse was back to showroom perfection. When I walked in, Shane's face lit up. Honey, you're back. I already had Riley move out of the master suite, and the place is spotless. I gave a small nod to show I'd heard. I settled onto the couch. He dropped to one knee in front of me, apologizing. I was wrong yesterday. I should have asked before letting Riley move in, and I should have cleaned up once she trashed the place. She's job hunting, baby. As soon as she lands something, she's gone and we're back to just us two. He picked up a pastry bag from a bakery I love, 2 hours way by car and pre-order only, to show me. The apartment wasn't a wreck, and the little childhood friend was nowhere in sight, so I decided to give him one more chance. Riley wasn't home, so Shane and I went out for dinner and called a temporary truce. When we got back, we found her curled on the couch, clutching a throw pillow and crying. I flicked my eyes toward Shane. He carried the dessert box over to her. Riley, your sister-in-law brought you sweets. Did the job search go rough today? That only made her cry harder, pretty little tears streaming. I know sister doesn't like me, so she tossed all my stuff into the guest room, but the doctor said I need sunlight every day. Shane looked mortified. You go outside for interviews, you get plenty of sun. Don't take it out on your sister-in-law. Don't take it out on me? The moment he sees Riley it's like his IQ drops 50 points. I couldn't be bothered to jump into their drama. I walked into the master suite and did a quick patrol. Bed freshly made, room immaculate. I stepped into the walk-in closet, and noticed one white designer bag was missing. It wasn't the most expensive thing I own, but Shane had given it to me, so it mattered. I headed back to the living room to call Shaw and ask whether she'd stowed it somewhere else, then spotted the bag on the couch, right where Riley had been sitting. I picked it up and confronted her. Did you help yourself to this from my closet? She snatched it back. Shane said I didn't have a decent bag for interviews and told me to pick one from your collection. Seeing my expression darken, she muttered, it's just a bag. He bought it anyway, so why make a scene? True, Shane bought it, but half my closet is limited edition. Was she planning to raid all of it? Vanity isn't cute, kid. Stay out of my suite and keep your hands off my things. I still haven't billed you for the makeup you trashed last week. I'd stripped off the polite veneer, and Riley finally cracked. You live in a penthouse. SE loft with wall-to-wall designer bags, so you think you can look down on small-town girls like me? Tears rolled again. Shane hurried over to find his childhood sweetheart sobbing. Before he could speak, Riley wailed, your fiancé thinks we're thieves because we're from a tiny town. Do you believe that about me too? Maybe the phrase looked down yanked him back to the years he'd spent climbing up the social ladder. He wiped her tears, then turned to give me a long look. Lily, we come from different worlds, but Riley and I are decent people. How could you assume the worst? I let out a short laugh. All it takes is a running mouth, huh, Riley? You swiped my bag, then cry small town discrimination when you're the one who decided that label fits. I glanced at Shane, nothing but calm in my eyes. I went back into the master suite and locked the door, clear sign I was done sharing a bed with him anyway. The loft had plenty of guest rooms. Whatever Shane said to Riley after that, it seemed to work. For the next few days she kept her head low, out early, back late, pretending to job hunt in earnest. A week later I came home to a fully set dining table. Riley greeted me with a smile. Come sit, sister. I landed a new job today, celebration dinner. So the girl did no basic manners. I sat, scanned the dishes, and realized the host was Riley but the chef had to be Shane. Among all the bland plates sat a bright red spicy chicken, my favorite. Shane carried out the last dish. Riley lifted her soda and gazed at him fondly. Shane, thanks for everything this week. She remembered to flash me a grin. And thanks, sister, for pushing me, you sped up my job search. Curious what sort of push produced what sort of job, I asked. Which company hired you? Riley's hand paused mid-sip. Shane rushed to cover. Just a little startup. She's light on experience, big corporations won't bite yet. Riley bristled. Not all of us marry moneymakers like Shane. I envy how easy your life is. I set my chopsticks down and gave her a sincere smile. Luck of the draw, sweetheart. Envy doesn't change the cards. Her face went dark, my day got brighter. Shane earns decent money, but on his salary alone buying into this zip code would take decades. The penthouse loft is an asset my parents locked down ages ago, never mind the wall of designer bags and jewelry. I lived at this level long before Shane appeared. Once we dated, I dialed it down so he wouldn't look like a kept man. Funny, he never bothered telling Riley any of that. Suddenly Riley squealed, she'd taken a bite of the spicy chicken. Her eyes watered and she fanned her tongue. Shane poured her water and tapped her forehead. Still can't handle heat, huh? Same kid I remember. She beamed. I just wanted a taste. Remember when we climbed the hill for wild berries and you scraped your leg so I could reach the sweet ones? He smiled at the memory. And you still gobbled every sugary thing in sight, you little glutton. They locked eyes, lost in nostalgia. I leaned back and slow clapped. Bravo to the wonder years. Riley nudged Shane, taunting, looks like sister's jealous. Relax, we're family now, nothing more. Honestly, I found her little play entertaining. When Shane asked me to marry him, he rented out an entire restaurant. He knew flash matters to a girl with my bank balance. The roses, the candlelight, the handsome face, of course I said yes. Watching him with Riley made me realize that might be the version of intimacy he actually understands. 2 years together, and we're still strangers. After my shower I checked my phone and found a link from Sienna. Title, My childhood sweetheart let his fiancé give up the master bedroom for me. I tapped through. The post was a breathless humble brag. She moves into his place. He kindly boots the fiancé so the sickly heroine can sunbathe in the master suite, because, doctor's orders. The kicker, looks like the perfect stranger still can't beat the childhood sweetheart. I allow. Get out loud, only Riley could write this fanific about herself. She even whined that I banned her from touching my designer bags and tossed her plush toys. Commenters either swooned or called her out as a green tea manipulator. She only replied to the fans, adding that the guy earns big and his mom doesn't want another woman cashing in. So Riley's crash landing in Riverdale wasn't random, Mommy Shane approved. I'd met his mother once in his hometown, soft-spoken, gentle smile. Apparently she's been plotting behind that smile. She doesn't think I'm daughter-in-law material. Fine. As they say, every pot finds its matching lid. I screenshot the post, let's see what stunt Riley pulls next. I didn't have to wait long. Next afternoon our new partner sent a delegation to our office, and I dressed for battle. The rep was my old college senior Linyi, friends since freshman year, though we keep it professional because everyone knows I'm engaged to Shane. After we signed the deal, he invited me for a drink. I couldn't say no without seeming rude. At the bar I ordered 2 cocktails. Linyi loosened his tie. The dim light gave his harmless face a wicked edge. He cut to the chase. Lily, last week Shane personally walked a girl into our affiliate and parked her at the admin desk, female, pretty, 22. The image of Riley's smug grin flashed through my mind. So the childhood sweetheart gets the master suite, and now the fresh hire gets the cubicle next to him, classic Shane. I smiled, unsurprised. She's the hometown kid's sister, nothing weird about giving her a leg up. Linny wasn't buying my shrug. He escorted her in, made me shake her hand, and told HR to treat her like family. On the floor she's introduced as Shane's girl, not his sister. Shane's affiliate had a partnership with Linya's company. Slipping one extra person in through the back door was effortless. What I hadn't expected was that Shane would personally pull the strings for her. Clearly this little sister by a different mother carried real weight in his heart. Linya saw that I didn't answer. He tapped his glass against mine. What's so great about Shane, anyway? Lily, I was the one who chased you first. My dad and his had been close for years. After I left for college, Uncle Lin told him to keep an eye on me. At first he treated me like a kid sister, but the more time we spent together, the closer we got. Still, I never believed his feelings were 100% pure. So I turned him down and picked Shane. 2 years later, the moment his childhood sweetheart showed up, everything imploded. Talk about an expensive lesson. I'm not against spending time with Linny now, but I haven't officially broken up with Shane. Doing anything else would feel wrong. I lifted my wine and took a sip. I hear you. When this mess is over, I'll call you for drinks. Linny smiled at that. The guy really does have a killer grin. Unlike Shane, his confidence meshes with mine. He dropped me at my building, and we ran straight into Shane. The second Shane saw me climb out of Linya's car, he yanked me aside, brows knit tight. Babe, what are you doing with him? I shook him off. I had a meeting with his company, then we grabbed a drink. Shane eyed Linya like a guard dog. Lily and I are getting married, some people need to learn personal space. Linya's mouth curled up. Interesting double standard, Roberts. First you use your connections to slot your side piece into a job, then you call our normal conversation inappropriate. Shane's face drained. He thought I still didn't know about the favor he'd pulled for Riley. He stiffened. This is family business, Lynn. Stay out of it. Lily, let's go. I didn't argue. I followed him upstairs. In the elevator he kept at it, we're picking up our marriage license soon. Stay away from Linny. I'll assign someone else to liaise with his team. I was speechless. The doors slid open, we stepped out. I stopped at the door and said, Shane, we're done. He stared. D like he'd misheard, grabbing my shoulders. Is it him? Are you already sleeping with him? I slapped him hard. If you're filthy, don't assume everyone else is. That seemed to sober him. He caught my hand, pleading. I get it. I'll make Riley move out today. I've been unfair to you, babe. So he'd known all along that her squatting in our place would upset me, he'd just pretended otherwise. I jerked free. He kept babbling, I'll have her packed tonight. I even found her a job, so I've done my part, okay? He still wasn't hearing me. I slapped him again. I don't just want Riley gone. I want both of you gone. Our shouting echoed down the hall. Riley rushed out, saw the red handprint on Shane's cheek, and shrieked. You psycho! How dare you hit A Shing? Tiny arms, tiny legs, no match for a girl who hits the gym 5 days a week. I flung her aside. When she hit the floor, Shane instinctively scooped her up. Lily, violence? You know she's not strong. Unbelievable, he still had energy for this soap opera. I looked at the pair of star-crossed beggars and laughed. Tonight, you two are both out. Riley morphed into a fighter jet. The one who should crawl is you, bitch. The penthouse is A Shing's, don't take a single paperclip. Shane blocked her. Fine, we'll leave, but don't let anger make you reckless. Everyone already knows we're about to marry. Translation, call it off and you'll embarrass your family. His modest background? A broken engagement is no big deal. My family? Different story. If Dad hears I jilted him at the altar, he'll be out for blood. Shane still doesn't know me. I've never been afraid to smash the whole jar. Riley kept wailing. A Shing, she's the intruder. Why be nice when she's dumping you? Her voice grated. I strode over, fisted her hair, and forced her to look at me. Both panicked. I patted her cheek. Did your precious A Shing forget to mention the penthouse, and everything in it, is mine? I let go, unlocked the smart lock, and stepped inside. Then I stood there, supervising while they stuffed suitcases. Where they crash next is not my problem. Before the door slammed, Riley glared. Sis Zhang, talk is cheap. Enjoy the loot while you can. Once A Shing and I are official, you're the one flying out. I couldn't be bothered. You can't wake someone pretending to be asleep. Before bed I clicked on Riley's latest thread. Sure enough, new post. She bragged that her childhood hero had landed her a cushy new job and everyone treats the connection hire like royalty. Added that he'd already moved them out, generously leaving his ex the downtown penthouse so she has a roof. Supposedly he's house hunting for her next, promising something even swankier. Riley must be living in a dream. Whatever spell Shane cast, it's potent. Then again, in her life, a guy like him is probably the best trophy so far. Once Shane moved out, he flipped the script. Every evening he waited downstairs with flowers. When the receptionist chirped, "Your boyfriend's downstairs," I smiled. We broke up. He's a cheating scumbag. She's the office grapevine, news will pollinate by lunch. So every day Shane absorbs a pollen storm of contempt. Me? I ride the executive lift to the VIP garage. He no longer qualifies for eye contact. Until one day, fresh from seeing a client out, I ran into him. Half a month had etched exhaustion into his face. He clutched my wrist. "Lily, I never agreed to split. You can't do this." His touch revolted me. I signaled security to peel him off. Dusting my sleeve, I said, "Breakups don't require your signature. Go build your little happily ever after with her." He yelled after me, "Babe, you're just jealous over Riley. I'll fix it." Disgusting. I'd been blind for 2 years. That night I invited Sienna for drinks. She brought Linny along. Sienna is his cousin. After hearing how I'd booted both Shane and Riley, she raised her glass. "That's my ride or die, cut the rot clean off." She shoved Linny toward me. "Lost a fiancé? Here's a spare." I laughed her wink. "I'm not anti-romance, but if Linny and I crashed, it could nuke 2 families." Reading my mind, he tapped my hand. "Lily, at least let me court you properly." Looking into those gentle eyes, my pulse skipped. The man really is unfairly pretty. I smirked. Turning down young master would be rude. From then on, rain or shine, he picked me up after work. Courting was the excuse. He hunted down new bistros, curated art exhibits that matched my taste, even flew me to another city just for a symphony we both wanted to hear. At auctions he snapped up necklaces he knew I'd love. With Shane I'd soft-pedaled money talk to protect his ego. With Linny, I felt myself click back into place, and remembered what butterflies feel like. Under the northern lights he produced a document and confessed. I was stunned. He was signing 60% of his shares over to me, no strings. "If I ever betray you," he said, "my fate is whatever you decide." Laughing, I accepted, and kissed him while the sky danced green. Lost in that sweetness, I almost forgot Shane existed, until he materialized at my door like a ghost with unfinished business. He looked even more haggard. Head bowed, he croaked, "Lily, Harris, your referral won't renew our contract. My own position's on the chopping block. Could you put in a good word?" Harris had only partnered with Shane's firm because of my dad's introduction. The whole point was to secure Shane's promotion. Now that I'd dumped Shane and Dad had reposted Linya's and my Instagram selfie, Dad cheerfully yanked every lifeline and blacklisted him industry-wide. So Shane can't figure out why doors that once swung wide are now triple-bolted. He turned it over and over in his mind and finally decided the problem must be me. Of course I wasn't going to help him, I'd pay to watch him crash and burn. "Shane, you're the one whose performance can't cut it. What's the point of coming to me?" He was still trapped in his own little world, convinced I was angry about Riley. He dropped to one knee. "Lily, I swear there's nothing between me and Riley. She lied to me, all that stuff about needing sunlight and taking supplements. I was only trying to repay a favor. That's how we ended up where we are." Watching him shove every scrap of blame onto Riley was hilarious. I pushed him away. "Riley must have been blind, falling for a guy like you." Shane claimed he and Riley were ancient history. Riley, however, had a different take. She updated her thread, saying her childhood sweetheart ex's former girlfriend had reported him and torpedoed his golden future, and she even tagged my real name in the post. Internet sleuths are scary fast. Within minutes they tracked me down using the breadcrumbs Riley dropped, even dug up my family tree. These days Riley counts as the underdog. She spun a sob story of how Shane clawed his way up, then announced she was pregnant with his baby and begged me to back off and let them be a happy little family. I'd planned to let it go. But Riley is actually pregnant? I have no idea when those two started sleeping together. While the comment section split into warring camps, Riley poured gasoline on the fire. She claimed I'd fallen out of love first, and strongly hinted my new man was Linny. I'd posted plenty of vacation and date night photos with Linny while we traveled. My comment section exploded. I was scrolling through the mess when an unknown number rang. I picked up. "Riley." You could hear the smugness dripping off her voice. "Look, sis, if you've got any sense you'll pull strings and win Shane's clients back. Otherwise you'll spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder. I actually laughed out loud. Setting aside the fact that you two are birds of a feather, don't you want to build some karma for the baby you're carrying? When she realized she had no leverage over me, Riley flew into a rage. Who says you get to live this life? After Shane dumped you, someone else still pampers you. Lily, I swear I'll ruin your reputation. Turns out Riley can't stand the thought of me being happy. If she won't let me live in peace, why should I let her off the hook? Shane probably has no idea that when I moved in, I beefed up the security system. Every move they made inside was caught on camera. Especially the feed from the closet cam facing my walk-in wardrobe. At first I wrote them off as two sewer rats, just leave and stay gone. But they insisted on jumping out of the gutter to disgust me. Linny heard I'd been doxxed and came by to check on me. He said he'd already arranged for HR to fire Riley. I nodded and told him I could handle the rest. I used to think Shane's ego needed rescuing and that Riley stroked his fragile masculinity. Now I seriously wonder what they did in my house. I pulled up the footage. I scrolled back to the week before I returned from my trip. Riley had moved in the minute I left town. She toured the whole place, gushing to Shane. Shane, you've really made it, buying a place this big and you still haven't brought Aunt Shaw over to live the good life. Shaw is Shane's mother, and apparently she's bitter he never invited her to the city. Thanks to Riley, I saw exactly what kind of family I'd almost married into and dodged a bullet. With me away, Riley pulled out all the stops. She floated through the living room in sheer silk unlaced pajamas, calling for Shane to fix the TV, fed him breakfast at the dining table. They were glued to each other like newlyweds. She parked herself in front of my closet, tried on every piece of jewelry and every luxury watch, posed with each designer bag while snapping selfies. While Shane was at work, Riley even recorded a house tour on video and sent it to his mother, bragging on the phone that she'd boot me out soon so she could move Shaw in and live the high life. By that point I was laughing out loud. I copied every clip and fed them to the gossip bloggers I'd hired. Their editing skills beat mine any day. When people saw he segment of Riley prancing around my closet, the comments flew. Sis says the other woman's abusing power, but she's already cosplaying homeowner in her head. This is literally my Pinterest dream board. I've only ever seen that bag in unboxings. She's flexing it like it's hers. I also had my assistant compile a timeline of my relationship with Shane and paste it side by side with Riley's thread. Then I went nuclear. I posted the receipts directly under Riley's thread. The internet lost its mind. Turned out I was the one with receipts and morals. Riley's comment section became a war zone. She deleted the thread, but screenshots were everywhere. She'd achieved peak infamy. A flood of new followers hit my page, gushing about how Linny and I were couple goals. Online, once you drop the receipts, netizens reach the right verdict fast. According to Linny, Shane lost his job as well. Even though Riley now knows the penthouse loft isn't in Shane's name, she's still fighting his battles online. They tore into each other in public. Shane slapped her so hard she hit the pavement. Someone caught it on video and uploaded it. Netizens crowned him king of the creeps. Shane messaged me from a new number. Lily, are you satisfied with how low I've sunk? Absolutely. The scumbag got what he deserved, handcuffed to his first love. I figured Shane and Riley might come crawling back, but I never expected Mama Shaw to show up at my office. She dropped to her knees right in front of me. Little Lily, my stupid son traded a diamond for a pebble. Please, be the bigger person and let Shane go. Turns out age really does teach people to bend. I refused her bow and signaled security to lift her up. Shaw sobbed, I won't stand until you promise. Shane has changed, and you're the only daughter-in-law I'll ever recognize. When Shane rushed in, I felt nothing. He helped his mother up and barked at me, she's your elder, how could you let her kneel? I didn't take the bait. I looked down at Shaw and asked, you were the one who invited Riley here, weren't you? You wanted to pick the perfect wife for your son so you could move in and live large. Memory that short? Shaw froze mid-sob. Shane looked as if he'd been slapped. He never imagined Riley had come at his own mother's invite. He groaned, Mom, what were you thinking? Shaw wailed, beating her thighs, you ungrateful child, you ditch your own mother. When you shacked up with that tramp, did you ever think of me? Then, between sobs, all these years and you can't even buy a condo, you told me the rich girl already signed the papers. So Shaw's scheme was to split my property and move in for an easy life. Did she think people with money were born yesterday? Shane helped his mother up. Linny arrived with building security and escorted them out. Afterward Linny told me they'd never get past reception again. He added that he'd booked tonight's red-eye for an impromptu getaway. It was so last minute I said I needed to pack. Linyi insisted, bring nothing but yourself. I'd imagined how Linyi might propose, but nothing this cinematic. Crimson roses cascaded from the castle turrets while he walked toward me under a spray of starlight. He dropped to one knee, a massive diamond ring in his hand. Lily, will you walk the road ahead with me? I'll protect you, love you, and guard everything you dream of building. Even a skeptic like me felt tears sting my eyes. One sentence echoed in my head, isn't life just a string of moments like this? Under Sienna's cheers and those of all my friends, I gave the tiniest, most heartfelt nod. Linyi slipped the ring on my finger and pulled me into a tight embrace. We kissed while rose petals snowed around us. The next time I heard about Shane, it was from a mutual acquaintance. To prove she'd chosen right, Riley refused to terminate the pregnancy. She followed Shane back to his hometown. Shane had been one step from marrying into money, now he's unemployed and living with his mother, Ev. And jobless. A former manager should have savings, right? But under the guidance of some locals, he took up gambling. He blew every dollar, then mortgaged the family house. He spent his days drunk, cursing his mother and Riley. Seeing Shane hit rock bottom, Riley dumped the baby and ran. A life like that, how could anyone swallow it? Not my circus, not my monkeys. Lainey and I are on our overseas honeymoon, living the life I deserve with my childhood sweetheart. Thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked it, hit like and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your take in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more juicy tales. See you next time.